Hi, I'm Shawn Cook. I work for the Canadian Coast Guard. Currently, my position is Chief Engineer on the Coast Guard ship Griffin. The Griffin is a medium endurance navigation aids tender, light icebreaker based in the Great Lakes sector of the Central and Arctic region of the Canadian Coast Guard. My job is to ensure the safe and continuous running of its machinery and auxiliary equipment, make sure that the ship is ready for any tasks assigned to it by the Regional Operations Center, to ensure that we continue with the mandate for the Canadian Coast Guard. Maritime matters because 80% of all products that's used by consumers at one time or another are shipped. Currently, Canada's largest trade partner is the United States. 40% of all trade between the United States and Canada actually goes across the Great Lakes. Great Lakes is also the source for a lot of drinking water for cities and communities in Canada and the United States. So we need to ensure that the quality of that water is maintained and that there aren't any oil spills or any discharges of chemicals into the Great Lakes. COVID-19 affected us greatly on board the Coast Guard ship Griffin. We just had a crew change where we joined the ship. We have a crew of 24 aboard. Before we joined the ship, each member of the crew had their temperature taken, where we filled out a questionnaire, answered a questionnaire, whether we had traveled outside of the country, whether we had traveled outside of the province, whether we had been in contact with a person with COVID-19. After it was confirmed that we did not have a fever and that we answered no to all those questions, we were allowed to board the ship. While we're on board the ship, we are trying to maintain social distancing of 2 meters as best we can, which is very, very difficult on board the ship. We have markings through the alleyways with masking tape to remind us how far 2 meters is. We are taking turns eating in cycles so that we don't overload the mess halls at any one time. After finishing my meal this evening, I took a bleach and water mixture and sprayed my area and made sure everything was clear and sanitized. We are continually sanitizing the ship. In the engine room, we're sanitizing handrails and any buttons and switches that are operated regularly 4 times a day. And the railings and alleyways are being sanitized on a continuous basis. The biggest thing that I can do for myself is that I try not to watch the news as much as I can, because you turn on any news, CBC or CTV news now, and all you're hearing about is how many deaths and how many more people are sick and how someone got infected, and it can be quite overwhelming when I'm away from my family at this time. One of the things I try and do is take about a 10-minute break in the afternoon, just to step outside the ship, get a breath of fresh air, get some sun on my face, and that really seems to recharge my batteries. I find that connectivity with my family through the internet and with telephone calls is very, very important. It certainly makes me feel a lot better to phone home or to email home. Of course, it's just spring, just starting here in Canada, and we have orioles in the backyard, and we have some rose-breasted grosbeaks, and my daughter's taking a great interest in making sure that they're really well fed. And just talking to her and what she's doing with the birds in the backyard, it certainly makes me feel better too. But you hear the news that provinces and different counties are going to start lifting restrictions. I hope they're very, very cautious in the speed that they do it, because I would hate to see a second wave of COVID-19. I hope that they're very professional and make the right decisions.